And so our estimate right now, by 2024, but 2023, I think we gave the estimate at, is they will have an absolute success story if the combined group sells 40,000 units.
Hey everyone, it's Todd the Cybertruck Truck Guy. So today we're going to be looking at a recent Autoline After Hours video where some Detroit industry experts give their forecasts about what they see happening in the electric pickup truck world. I think it's important because it helps give us some insight into how Detroit is looking at electric vehicles and why we see the big three moving apparently so slow to the Tesla Cybertruck as well as to other potential rivals such as Rivian. Also, I'll be providing a link to this video if you want to watch it in its entirety, but let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm John McElroy, and welcome to Autoline This Week, where we're going to be talking about pickups, especially electric pickups. They're getting all the headlines right now, but they might have a hard time gaining acceptance from full-size pickup buyers because they are the most conservative buyers in the marketplace. And to talk about that today, I'm joined by Warren Brown from Warren Brown Consulting, who's been looking into the pickup segment. He told me since 1976. Warren, great to have you on the show with us today. Warren, let's get into this whole discussion of electric pickups. You did a deep dive into it recently, and you seem to be a little bit skeptical that these things are going to catch on, at least in big numbers. And of course, the industry needs these things to sell in the volume to be able to make a profit on them. Why are you skeptical?
The pickup segment, the full-size pickup segment, is the segment for the market. It has the highest volume, arguably the highest profit. The level of complexity within the segment in terms of the variants that are offered, the range of variants that are offered, again, are the most complex in the market. So it offers the full-size pickup customer a full range of whatever it is that they want. So these new BEVs, these electric-only entries, will be coming into the market facing an all-American segment, and they're going to have to prove themselves. And the initial entries are high-priced. They're limited in the range of offerings that they're providing, especially to fleet customers. Because of that, including the high price, the acceptance will be there, but it's going to be slow.
And your report says that the average electric pickup is going to cost $20,000 more than the average piston-powered pickup.
What is remarkable to me here is when you actually go down here and you look at the average sale price of, or the average transaction price of the actual popular trucks, you see that you're looking at around $52,000 for an F-150 and $54,000 for an F-250. Why I think that's remarkable is when you go look at their sites, as I've been saying forever since I've been talking about this stuff, nobody buys the base truck. Nobody buys the cheapest model. And this is borne out in the actual data. Now up here, these are all guesses. He's speculating. But this down here, this is actual hard data. So when you take a look at the actual transaction price, and that's why when everyone was like, oh, the Cybertruck is so expensive. No, it is not. It's right in line. If you get the dual motor Cybertruck, you're looking at a transaction price without full self-driving that is very close to a standard F-150 four-wheel drive on average. You know what the average upgrades, modifications, trim levels are, all that other stuff. I found this guy's approach troubling because it didn't sound to me at all that he actually did any surveying. It was just like he pulled all the math together and he came up with some estimates, and I have no idea what these are based on. But I'm going to show you in a little bit some actual research that was actually done post-reveal of the Cybertruck. I've talked about it in some of my other videos, but this is a good place for me to demonstrate how far this gap is between what I would call sort of industry insiders and what the actual data as far as reservations and actual surveys that are being done with people about the Cybertruck and electric pickup trucks. It's really, really different. But these are the kinds of people that are consulting. They're providing guidance to Detroit manufacturers and the suppliers of the manufacturers, it's totally misleading because it absolutely misrepresents the disparity between the price for an electric pickup truck relative to the price of a conventional pickup truck, especially when you're referring to the Cybertruck.
Full-size pickup customers today are used to roaming the lots, looking at inventory, which is enormous.
But I got to cut out some of this interview because the video itself is 26 minutes. If I add my own commentary, it's going to be like a 45-minute video. What I do want to focus on is how in this section he talks about what people are used to in the truck buying experience, which is walking the lot, seeing all the different choices, having all these different abilities to configure the truck the way you want it, and then going through the traditional negotiation and sales process, of which survey after survey shows people hate. But he's talking about it as if this is something that the buyers themselves enjoy as a way to actually acquire their vehicle. They don't enjoy it. It's the only way it's ever been done. It's the only option they've had. So this is what they've done. That's what they're used to. He also makes a big point of talking about, here go the dogs. I never know. We'll just, life with COVID, life with dogs, life as a YouTuber, whatever. The point he's trying to make here is that trucks are complicated. There's a lot of different options. It's a complicated process that buyers go through to outfit and purchase their truck. And the new model where you just go on the internet and purchase a vehicle as is with no flexibility and cab and bed and all the other configurations is really going to handicap the sales of this new breed of pickup truck, which I grant the premise for the people that require outlier vehicles. Think of the exterior and cab, the bed and cab features as being on like a bell curve. And in the middle, you have Super Crew, 4 full-size passengers, 4 doors, and a 6.5-foot bed. And that represents probably 60 to 80% of the consumer grade pickup truck market. And then there's the outliers. There's everything that sits outside of that. And those people that are diehard, that really need like an 8-foot bed, they're going to struggle to switch to some of the EVs that don't have that option yet. So the point is, he's completely misreading the distribution curve of the bell curve of demand and where the sweet spot is. That's why all these EV trucks are they're the version of a Super Crew cab with a 6.5-foot bed or smaller bed, because that is what generally the consumer market is looking for.
There's above 60,000 units in the pickup market. There's about 40,000, there's above 60,000. There's 195,000 pickup trucks sold above 60,000.
Okay.
Right? But when you boil that down to half ton only, because a lot of those trucks above 60 are sold in 3/4 and 1 ton versions. Mm-hmm. So you have to take those out of the picture because the BEV isn't going to satisfy that requirement for that customer. So if you take a look at half ton only, we're looking at 95,000 vehicles, full-size pickups, sold above 60. That's a pretty good volume. But it's rare earth. It's rare air up there. So when you're coming into that market of 95,000 units with 9 new entries, 2 of which are from the Detroit 3, you're facing some pretty tough competition.
Okay, now this is some interesting data and I think really useful, because what he's basically saying here is that of all the pickup trucks that are sold in the United States, around 3 million or so, only about 200,000 of those have a price above $60,000. So only 200,000, and of that, only 100,000 of those are half tons. Now, if you're not a truck person, that's probably not really going to mean a lot to you, but typically half ton is what you think of a F-150, more consumer grade, and then 3/4 ton on up, those are more work trucks. Now, if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I actually believe that the right truck to compare the tri-motor to from a work standpoint is an F-250 or a 3/4 ton truck because of what it can tow and its payload capacity. So again, he's generalizing here, but he's ignoring the fact that the tri-motor Cybertruck actually possesses some of the characteristics in terms of towing and payload that a 3/4 ton truck has. 3/4 ton truck will edge it out on towing a little bit, but the point is that, again, he's lumping all things together. The second point is that a lot of people like me who would spend more on a truck if it provided more flexibility to do a fuller range of things, including if it was more fun to drive, I'd pay more. I have a motorcycle that I have for going fast because my truck does not go fast. And one of the things Sandy Munro said early on when he was actually on the same show, well, different version of it.
I think there's a lot of advantage if you're the kind of buyer that, that's going to want this. And quite frankly, I will tell you a little bit about what I know about people who buy a Jeep Wrangler. What do you think their second car is?
What?
Take a guess.
An F-150.
Nope. Mustang.
Huh.
Either a Mustang or a motorcycle. They aren't a truck buyer. They're a buyer of something that's going to take them for adventure. This thing here is an adventure vehicle.
I actually think that there is an entirely rational range of truck buyers like me that usually buy in the mid 40 range that can say, okay, I'll go up to $50,000 or $60,000 because of all the extra things specifically that the Cybertruck gives me in terms of off-road capability, in terms of acceleration. It's just fun. I'm willing to pay a little bit more to be driving around a portable roller coaster that I can basically take off-road and yeah, it's going to be a blast. I'm willing to put a premium on that because it gives me so much more as a driver. What percentage of the people that are out there? I don't know, but I could easily see it being double that, going to 200,000 or 300,000 a year. The other thing that they talk about some here are what I'm going to call the crossover people. The people that are now driving SUVs, premium SUVs, that would definitely consider buying a truck if it ticked off the boxes as far as comfort, styling, sportiness, all that other stuff. And I think that's another place where the electric vehicles in general, but the Cybertruck in particular, are going to pull in some high-level premium luxury buyers that are willing to buy a truck when it can do all the things, as well as we believe the Cybertruck is going to be able to do it. And to some extent, some of the other electric pickup trucks. All right, let's look at the next clip.
And so our estimate right now, by 2024, but 2023, I think we gave the estimate at, is they will have an absolute success story if the combined group sells 40,000 units total. That'd be a home run.
Okay.
Well, you can't call that a home run, as you know. I mean, at 40,000 units split 9 different ways, no one's going to make money.
If I could just jump in, we're forecasting through LMC Automotive, our forecasting partner at Words Intelligence, that much 65,000 in 2023.
Okay, so that's the last clip I'm going to show of this, because that's really, I guess, the crux of this is you have 2 industry experts that are providing guidance and counsel to automakers that the total volume of electric trucks that are going to be produced and sold by 2023 is between 40 and 65,000. Now, a little bit later, they go on to indicate that they think Tesla will have the largest share of that. But what is astonishing to me is the disconnect between those estimates and what we actually see playing out in both the reservation count, which is now well over 1 million gross. I think with some math that tries to accommodate for different numbering systems for different models, it's something like 750,000. And also about some of the surveys that were done early on when the Cybertruck was released, relatively early on, that I want to talk about here in a second. But the point of it is that nobody has the balls to basically say, we believe Tesla will actually get the Gigafactory done and be up to production and sell the volume of trucks that every indication says they're going to be producing, at least have some vehicles coming off the line by the end of next year. Let's say they have 3 months in 2021 and all of 2022 to get the line up and running, to work out the kinks, to start producing the Cybertruck, and this back order of, let's discount the reservations and say whatever, 75% of them fall out. And that's still a backlog of like 200,000 vehicles. And they're saying the total amount that's going to be sold is 65. What a disconnect between what Tesla's proven over and over and over and over again over the last, especially 24 to 36 months. They're still thinking it's the same old Tesla that overpromises, underdelivers, misses production deadlines, can't produce a vehicle, can't get it out on time. And if there's a reason why Tesla doesn't sell more than 65,000 vehicles in 2023, it'll be because they couldn't produce them. Not because there isn't the demand, not because people won't pay the premium. It's because it's a brand new product and they're ramping up and maybe they have a bottleneck on battery, whatever. I could see that. That's a possibility. But outside of Tesla falling flat on its face and just not being able to ramp production, I don't see how you get to a total industry production of 40 to 65,000 in 2023. And if you're in charge of the Hummer program and you sell out, their inaugural version, the 112,000 one that sold out in a day, like what was it, 1,000 units, 5,000 units, you're patting yourself on the back going, well, we're going to have 20% of the market by the time we bring our vehicle to production. If that's what you're thinking, if you're thinking the market is going to be 40,000, but if Tesla actually executes and they produce what they're intending to produce or a fraction of it, they're alone going to sell more than that. They're going to sell 50, 60, 100,000 vehicles, 100,000 trucks by 2023. So with that, I want to point back to a couple of surveys that were done not long after the Cybertruck was released that point to not just the reservation, but also I would call it some validation of the demand specifically for the Cybertruck. I want to end with this. These are two articles that came out between March and May of this year, about 5 or 6 months after the Cybertruck was actually revealed. This was a survey that was done over 100,000 people in 6 different countries, and they found that 18% of Americans surveyed said they would likely consider purchasing a Cybertruck. 18%. That's more than a Ram truck. It's right beneath an F-150 and a Chevy Silverado. It doesn't even exist yet. And the perception is so positive out there that in an actual survey done, 18% of the people responding said they would consider purchasing it. And the second thing, and this is an investor group, Loop Ventures, and they did more of an informal survey where they went out and they talked to some people out here in Truckland, because I don't think they're located out here in Truckland. And what they found initially, their initial reaction is that the Cybertruck would be moderately successful, but that it had missed the mark. And then and that article is right here, Cybertruck misses the core truck buyer, but still an incremental positive. That was their initial reaction as non-truck people. And then they actually went out and decided to talk to people like me and people that are contractors in construction trade out here in the Midwest. And they actually started asking them, and they found out that there was actually a lot more receptivity to A, electric pickup trucks, and B, the Cybertruck specifically. It says something bigger is going on. Stepping back, we left with the feeling that the speed of EV adoption is trending faster than we expected. We entered these conversations expecting to hear clear concerns about EV shortcomings. Instead, 10 of the 22 contractors said their next truck will be electric. 4 were undecided and 8 were expecting to stay with internal combustion. My perspective is that they were surprised at the number of people that were interested in switching. Intent to buy was higher than we expected, with 5 of the 22 intending to purchase a Cybertruck in the next 5 years. Notice how close, 5 of 22, that's 20%, a little less, or a little more than 20, right around that 18% number. There is a lot of demand out there for both electric trucks and the Cybertruck. And if Tesla can make them, they're going to sell them. So this idea that there's going to be 40 or 50 or 60,000 is an idea that is only happening in the environment of people that are unfamiliar and don't understand what's actually going on, what people are buying, why they're excited, why 750 or 800,000 people have put a $100 deposit down for a Cybertruck. And my fear is that it continues to, it's setting up people to be really, really disappointed when once again Tesla dominates a segment and no one else can touch them, which is what I expect to happen with the Cybertruck and other truck options that I think Tesla is ultimately going to roll out, like the smaller version of the Cybertruck. So anyway, that's it for now. Other than that, if you like the videos, subscribe, all the other stuff. That's it. We'll catch you next time.